Mhm.
Oh, did that work?
Yep.
Great.
Chavo, how are you, man?
Ruben, what's going on, man? How are
Doing
you?
great, man. I grew up watching you.
Oh, thank you, man. Appreciate it. Make me feel old.
No, 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 no. You started super young. My question is related. You have trained many actors. What's the difference between training an actor for a real person than training an actor just for a role as a wrestler?
Okay, definitely different. Training an actor to imitate the mannerisms of an actual person is definitely different because now I have to, it gets much more narrow. So if I'm just training an actor to be a wrestler, just any wrestler, well, then I can, doesn't matter what kind of moves I'm really doing. I can kind of, I have a lot more moves to pick from, whatever the actor, whatever his ability or his or her ability is. Well, now when we're imitating a actual person, well, that person has a specific move set that they usually do that they're known for. So I have to make sure that I teach those actors those moves. And if they can't do them, well, then now I've got to do some tricks to try to really get them to look like they're doing it, you know? So that's the major difference.
You should, and the Iron Claw, because that was the signature that the family had.
Right,
Uh,
right.
that was something that you guys practiced it, or it was something that they just implemented as an actor, or was part of the training?
Well, we definitely practice every single move you saw on the movie is we practice every single thing and kind of try to get the mannerisms right and just the look of the move correctly. But the actors, you know, Jeremy, Zach, Harris, Holt, Stanley, they're all they're great. They're great actors and they're perfectionists, and these guys are go-getters. Like there's a reason why they are where they're at. They did their own research. They were watching YouTube and they knew by the time I got to them, they were already, you know, kind of trying to do the claw on me. And I was getting them, okay, oh, that's not it. Like this is what we do, this is how you hold. Okay.
I remember back in the 80s and 90s how important was the wrestling for at least for me as a kid growing, and for it was a huge community. And I don't know if you were familiar with the family and everything that was happening around them, and you were influenced by creating this character in action.
Right. So growing up a wrestling family in Texas, well, the other really big wrestling family in Texas was the Von Erichs. You know, me coming from the Guerrero family, La Familia Guerrero is there, you know, in El Paso when the Von Erichs are in Dallas. So there's a competitive rivalry for sure because we used to co-wrestle for that promotion. They would wrestle for our promotion, um, and wrestle each other, going to Japan and different countries as well as wrestling. So we cross paths all the time. And being children of a wrestler, you know that there's a competitive rivalry, but at the same time a camaraderie that we all, you know, we're all in the same business. We're all family. We were all family, even though we're two different families. We're all family. So for me to make this movie about a family that I grew up watching and knowing my entire life, was very special.
And talking about special, your son is in this movie, so he continued your legacy. And how was that like having someone in this film and watching in the big screen, because this is part of what you have been creating.
So yes, some of the Von Erich sons, Marshall and Ross, who are actually wrestling now, they were in the film. They had was a scene at the end. We're in the ring wrestling, not to give it away too much. But you know, I've helped them on their pro wrestling journey. So for me to get them on set and kind of help them with their acting journey was really cool as well.
With Sean, how was that conversation about creating what he wanted to create? Because the action looks super real, and even the training that I assume they have to go through because the body is different and everything. And how was that first conversation that you have with Sean Durkin about what he wanted to create and how you can help him?
So we definitely sat down and had a coffee, and he explained his vision to me. And once I saw that he was a wrestling fan and but was an incredible director as well, and we were very passionate about this project. It was, of course I had to make this with him. But it, you my job is to help get his vision onto the screen. So sure, he was going to take some advice from me, or some aspects that I see in the wrestling part, because that's what I do, wrestling. But this really just to see how he sees, and the vision he feels, and the tone of the movie where we're going to go. So that's what I try to bring out on the wrestling scenes. Because I can just make a wrestling scenes or whatever, but if this is my vision, it's my vision. This is his vision and A24's vision, and really what's needed for the film. It's not what I want, it's what's needed for this film and what Sean wants. So that's kind of what we talked about and continued talking, even during scenes. There was one part where he didn't have a cut point, and I saw him a little frustrated, and I said, "What's wrong?" He didn't have an edit point. I said, "Okay, hold on. Let me tweak this." So I talked to the actors, and we changed something really quick, and we shot it, and he was like, "That's what I needed." So it's collaboration for sure, the entire movie.
You say something important earlier about the family that fights, the wrestler. There's something, the heritage. And this family was particularly different than others because there was a curse because everything that happened. How
Right.
strict it's inside families to create the legacy of discipline and take care of that name that you carry because you're representing a bunch of people.
It's huge. It's a huge uh, honor, burden, and responsibility. It really is that's the Von Erich name is a very well-known wrestling name in the Dallas area, in Texas, in the wrestling world. So to be able to, you're trying to do that name justice, and bring them pride. You never want any project to make put a family in bad light. You always want to help them, look good, and propel that family to new heights. And that's what we try to do, is, and coming from the Guerrero family that knew this family, I made it my part like I was making it of my own family.
When you say that you had an approach by A24, you refer also the director or the studio has a particular conversation with you about what they wanted to create too?
So the director was the very first one that
Okay.
Sean.
Okay. And with Zach and Jeremy, they have this chemistry on screen. And also the chemistry of the four brothers of wrestling. Do you have to also create all the choreography, all the fighting, also with the older persons? Like you were in charge of creating everything that was fighting, and I'm assuming you work with Sean, but you were also in charge to create the choreography of the fighting with the other guys that were fighting too?
Yeah, I mean, anything wrestling on the film I was involved in, whether it be, the choreography, the training of the wrestlers, the set, the wardrobe. They're asking me questions all day long of different things to help them get their job correct. And that's because that's how good everybody was. The wardrobe department, the grips, everybody they were so great. The writing department, everybody was such far and beyond that they would pick my brain to help do certain aspects of their work. There was one time on set where what Sean wanted to happen with the choreography, what he had written, wasn't matching. So we sat and rewrote the script right there, he and I.
My last question is, what do you want that the audience take from this movie? Because usually for me, this is a sad story. This is a really sad story about family.
Right,
But cinematographically speaking, I think it's a great movie. It's
right,
overall a story that stays with you for many days.
right.
And I wonder what do you want that the audience take from this movie?
I just want them to see the family dynamic. And sure, they're a bunch of wrestling family, but it's a family that's unlike anybody's. You're unlike your family, unlike anybody else's family. That you have people in the same business, and you know tragedy can tear you apart, but can also bond you together. And that's what I hope people take from this movie.
Chavo, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. I'm a huge fan. This
Thank
is
you,
a
Ruben.
Bye bye.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother.